Hi everyone, it's Victoria and I'm back today with a video unboxing these Lisilinka watercolours. So I had a little bit of a Christmas splurge and they finally arrived from Europe in mid-January, and I've just been waiting to get time to film this video. So I thought that we'd unbox them together and then paint in the swatch cards. So you can see there the quality of the packaging and things is next level. These watercolours are all about the metallic shimmers, and that really comes across in the packaging. You can see here that on these labels that you can use on the paints, that real shimmery effect. And then you get watercolour cards for all the collections that they have. And the leaflet shows you what's currently in the collection. So this is the main palette that I got, and that was the Pure Prism palette. So again, you can just really see the quality of the packaging and things. And the watercolours themselves come in these hexagonal clear cases that are magnetised, which is really unusual. I haven't seen this on any of the other brands. Now the price points for these paints, you know, they aren't the cheapest to buy. So I was really intrigued to see what you would get, and I think definitely these are aimed at that luxury market. You can see here that in the velvet pouches. I also got some single colours, so we'll have a look at those together. So that one there was I think one called Midnight. And you get this little dropper bottle, which it's really handy for reactivating the paints. So you can put a splash of water on top of each paint before you're due to use them and just leave that to sit for a minute so that the paint reactivates really nicely when you're actually painting. So again, there you could see that the previous colour was Stardust, and this was a free colour. I think that one's called Jade. So those hexagonal cases are just really lovely. They look lovely on my desk. And then this was the final set that I bought, and I think this one is called Winter Wonderland. And there's 3 different colours in there. So you can see there kind of everything that came in that box, and opening it, it just did feel really exciting. These are definitely products that are all about a luxury user experience. I think art products that look really great on your desk and are really nice to look at and then encourage you to use them a lot. And hopefully they'll be just as amazing on the page. You know, when I've seen these paints online, they do look particularly sparkly, because there's lots of other metallic and holographic watercolours on the market, but these do just seem to, from videos that I've seen, really sparkle. So I'm interested to get to the swatching stage and see that. So I'm just finishing up putting the name stickers on the bottom of each pan so that I can refer back if I ever need to and know exactly which colour that is. You can see just in the top right hand corner there that you do get a card that describes the colours in the pan, but I think it'd just be really easy then to have a look at that actually in the pan itself. So now it's on to the swatching. So here I'm testing out the bottle for the first time. So you can see there that it has a pump top for you to fill the pipette with water. And then you can put a little spot of water on the top of each paint. And just let that sit for a minute so that those pigments are activated and ready to use. I think that there will be kind of a sweet spot with how much water to put on the paint. So you can see there that some of those little water droplets are bigger than others, and I think it might be a case of not going too much. Just looking at those, I think that hollow gold and the hollow copper might have just a little bit too big a drop on, but we'll see. We'll see when I start using them. So here I'm going to start with the top colour, the hollow silver, and just fill in the hexagon there with the paint. Now, as I started painting, I was kind of thinking that I would just do like a rough thing of colour, but then decided to fill in the whole hexagon. And again, I think it's possibly just getting used to the water control. I think if you use too much water, it is going to make the particles in the pigment spread out a little bit, so that it won't give you as an opaque a coverage. So I think this is where getting to know the paints will be really important, so that you can hit that sweet spot with the amount of pigment particle and in the solution on your brush. So you can just see there that I'm putting a little drop more pigment onto some of those swatches. So you can just see from that angle the sparkle in some of these paints, but we will have a look at that more closely once the paints have dried as well. So far, then we've swatched the hollow silver, the hollow gold, and this is the hollow copper that I'm just finishing off now. So these are kind of the classic metallic colours, I would say. And then the remaining colours in this palette are a little different. So this is the hollow rose. So this has like a pink tinge to that hollow metallic. And straight away I can tell that rose gold colour is going to definitely be a favourite, I think. I do like pinks and blues. Anyway, that aside, this is the hollow lavender, and again, I'm just really impressed. You can see there that as I'm laying down the paint, you can just see the shimmering particles of those hollow pigments. Really, really lovely. Even with the swatches still wet, you can just really see the depth of the coverage in those paints. So it's going to be really interesting to see what these are like once they dry. So here you can see that I'm doing the hollow ice. Apologies for the focusing. My camera obviously just wants to pick up the focus on my hand rather than the paints. Oh, there, that's better. So again, this is like a bluey green colour. Really, really lovely. And then this final colour in this set is Prism, which looks grey as it's first applied to the paper. As you can see me painting it here, that definitely has like a grey stroke charcoal look to the colour. But on the website, it does describe the particles in this particular, the holographic particles, as having a rainbow effect. So I'll be really interested to see this under lights once those pigments have dried, to see what that looks like. So with that first set all swatched out, I'm now going to move on to swatching some of those single colours. And because I've picked single colours out, these are part of sets, I think, if you buy some of the bigger sets. So this first colour, Midnight, you can see there is part of the Northern Lights set. Now, obviously, this is my first time trying the paints, so I didn't want to go too crazy, and thought that I would just kind of start out with some of my favourite colours. So the Midnight colour is a sparkling black, so I think this will come in really handy for lots of different things. You know, I'll be able to apply some of the paint to the back of one of my dip pen nibs, and you know, then write with the paint, and then obviously painting techniques and things as well. So you can see there that I put a much smaller drop of water on the paint. Again, apologies for those focusing issues. But the paint on the paper, I don't think that I had quite enough pigment on the brush, so I'm just going back in and applying a little bit more to get rid of some of those white patches that are just showing through from the paper underneath. So straight away as I'm applying that paint, you can see a difference between this colour and the previous set with the hollow colours. It doesn't look quite as sparkly at first glance, so I'll be really interested to see what that's like once it's dried. And then here you can see that we're swatching Stardust. So this was another single colour, and you can see there that that is included in the Once Upon a Time set, if you were going to buy a bigger set. So this is quite a pale silver grey, and is really lovely. I love this colour. So yeah, I can't wait again to see what that looks like once it's dry. And now I'm moving on to the Winter Wonderland set of 3 colours. So this first one is Snow Angel. So again, this has got a bit of a pink tinge and does remind me a little bit of the Rose Gold from the Hollow set, but is just really lovely. I mean, you can't have enough pinky gold in your life, can you? Let's face it. So yeah, I really, really love that. And I think the good thing about these smaller sets is that it lets you try a few colours that would work well in a project. And, you know, so if you were only going to get, you know, test these and get a small set, then these combinations of 3 really work well together. So you can see there that with that frost colour, this is a slightly darker grey colour, like a grey silver. It reminds me of a graphite grey, really. And again, that just looks really lovely. And you can see as these colours going on the page how well they complement each other as that set of 3. And the last colour, Snowflake, is a lovely tealy silver colour, and it looks so good against that graphite grey frost and the pink of the Snow Angel. These would definitely look so lovely in a project together. And that brings me to the last colour to swatch out today. And this is the colour Jade. You can see there that I put less water on again. So the last colour that we're swatching today is Jade, and this is a really lovely sparkly green. Now you can see here that as I'm applying the paint onto that swatch section, it looks really patchy, and that's because there's not enough water on my brush. So I've just picked up a little bit more water and gone back to the paint pan to pick up some more pigment and apply that. And that extra water will just help the particles in the paint disperse on the page a little bit more evenly. So I think these paints are definitely going to take a little bit of practice using. I'll be really interested to see how these layer on top of other watercolours. I think that's something that will be really interesting to look at in the future. So here you can see those colours all dried, and the sparkle is just amazing. You can see there under the light that the sparkle picks up on those paints. So lovely. So here, for example, with that Stardust colour, you can see where it looked really pale grey when it first went on. You can see much more colour reflected in those particles once it's dry. So similarly here with the Midnight, it's a little bit harder to see actually on camera, but it is a little bit more sparkly than I first thought it was. So that's really amazing. And then out of all of those swatches, just look at the colour on these. That metallic sparkle is just amazing. It's so lovely. I'm so excited to use these paints in a project. I can't wait to see how they layer with other colours and other products and things. So with one last look at the paints and the swatches, I hope that you've found that review useful if you were considering buying these paints. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up for the video if you liked it. It just helps the video be shared more. And definitely, if you want to see more content from me, subscribe. Until next time, wishing you a happy creative week. Bye.